Hey everybody, it's Lily Hope here in Juneau, Alaska, and we have a special guest today. We're doing a series with Sealaska Heritage Institute called Meet a Mentor. So one of my mentors and my mother's weaving colleagues from, 20 something years ago, 30 years ago, Evelyn Vanderhoop is joining us from Haida. She's a Haida weaver and daughter to Dolores Churchill, award-winning weaver, and is constantly on a robe commission. I think that I haven't seen you in 5 or 6 years without working on a robe. And Evelyn has been posting some amazing videos on YouTube about her process, some of the historical stories. So when you get the chance, check out her videos on YouTube, Evelyn Vanderhoop. And thanks for joining us, Evelyn. Yay.
Yeah, it's exciting to be here. The first time I've used this Zoom. I'm glad I could connect.
It's a whole new technological world now. Um, I wanted to ask you, well, okay, so you and I haven't worked together for many hours, but I kind of feel like you're that live person that I can call or message and say, is this right? Or do you think that's a true price? Or all those kind of questions that I can't ask my mom anymore in person. So thanks for being that live response person for me. It's been really, really good. I know that you and my mom, Clarissa Rizal, used to call each other on ground line phones. Is that real? Is that true?
That's right. When we were on our first robe together, well, she was weaving her first Nahin Chilkat robe, and I was weaving my first. And we'd already gone quite deep into it. Then it was time to start the lower V shape, and there was no one who could guide us. So we didn't really help each other, but we commiserated as to the lack of teachers. And um, my mentors are teachers, and so it was hard to get a hold of them. And so it was nice that Lily and I could talk about our projects together. And it would never be a short conversation. It was always quite long, and it was never shallow talking. It was very deep, and we really brought spirit into um, what we were talking about. And she was uh, she was an amazing colleague.
Yeah, I don't know how she was really good at talking on the phone and weaving. I like her hands were always moving. What got you into weaving originally? Why Nahin? Why the Chilkat blanket? Or what brought you to that? I don't know.
Well, I come from a weaving family where people are not just weavers, they're like master weavers. And I went off to university. I was the first one in my family to do that. And I graduated with a studio art minor as well as a degree in psychology. But so I went off to Martha's Vineyard and became a professional watercolor artist. And meanwhile, Lee Wallace and Holly Churchill and there were so many people that were involved in the revival of the Northwest Coast art in general. And then, so I was like, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that revival, that bringing back um, real quality, good works. And so when I did move back, that's what I wanted in my heart, was to get back to traditional art. Uh, my Western education kind of slowed that down. My sister Holly and April were already being displayed in museums. And so I wasn't going to be a beginner with spruce root or cedar because I would never be able to catch up. And so my mother was weaving Ravenstail at the time, and she'd already started, already had gone through the Nahin project, loving Nahin, and then going to Ravenstail. So I saw her lovely work, and it was as if she created these masterpieces overnight. And so I want to do that. So that's what really brought me to the textiles.
And your mother, Dolores Churchill, was your first teacher?
Yes, I really had more mentors than teachers, because my teachers were teachers, like I said, and they traveled around and they were hard to stay put. So I lived in the Seattle area, and whenever my mother would come to visit, I would like say, you know, I need another lesson or this or that, but it was in snatches. And so really uh, when I was determined to learn the Chilkat, the Nahin, I I really took their notes, and like you, I would be calling on the telephone saying, "Hey, page 54 confuses me," and I keep doing it again, and it keeps on not coming out right. And then they over the phone they would give me pointers. So it was really long distance, and so when um, when I teach, I'm like, I think these people are so fortunate to have a teacher.
Yeah. Wow. So that sounds like a lot of challenges. It sounds like you got really good at taking direction without seeing things. I mean, FaceTime and Zoom and all that is relatively new. So you were getting a lot of your information really auditory if you were just calling people, right? How?
Yeah, yeah. But visually, like there's a few snippets of Jennie Thlunaut weaving, you know, and um, just rare instances where she was recorded. And then any time I could see your mother weaving, because everybody has a whole especially with Nahin and Chilkat, there's a whole bag of tricks, and not one way is the best or the only way. So whenever I could get even a video or a little snippet of them holding their hands and how they twined, uh, I was just replay that, right? It was,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So how does teaching fit into your own Nahin practice now that you are, pretty much, I mean, you spend half your days weaving at least, do you think?
Um,
Like in a given
it all
24
depends.
hour day?
It all depends on I guess my project, because with Nahin, it's pretty intense. And so uh, you're really concentrating. You can't really relax with Nahin. So that cuts down the hours, like maybe with a Nahin weaving day is at the most 5 hours,
Right.
where Ravenstail is so relaxing and such a joy to hold, and you hold your hands so gently and differently that you can weave like for the joy of it all day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I I'm with you on that one, that after a 5 hour session of Chilkat weaving Nahin or Nahin, I just I'm like, can I just weave a tiny raven's tail something just to just to like kind of defog my mind. It's so intense. Do you
Yeah, I love earrings. That I think would be a great project. I went to a meeting with you that one time, and you were just busy doing your earrings as well as listening and contributing. So those things are really when you can take it with you. It's
Mhm.
nice.
It's been satisfying to be able to finish something in a couple of days instead of the 2 year process, just having a little taste of like completion each few days. It's been good. How does weaving fit into your I'm sorry, not weaving. How does teaching fit into your weaving life? Because I know you said, we were talking a couple weeks ago, and you said that teaching is kind of like part of our work as Chilkat weavers, as Nahin weavers, as especially because there's less than 10 of us that do this every day, right?
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
does how does
teaching,
teaching?
sharing. Yeah, teaching and sharing is really, really important. There are people who they don't have, they don't have the knack for teaching, and you know, that's them. But I really feel like if I can teach, then I should teach. And so I find that I'm a good teacher. I stay calm because I know I've had a few students that have really uh, been so nervous that their hands would sweat so bad their projects would be wet, you know. And so I know when your fingers are learning new ways of moving, it can be quite frustrating. And so I don't need to raise my voice an octave or get impatient with repeating more than a few times. They don't need that. So I find that I monotone my voice and I um, repeat and repeat, and it's important though. It's important to get these people not nervous about learning this new techniques and that they will eventually love it. And you kind of do need to love it because these projects take forever.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to maintain that passion. So you want to gently introduce these weavings to people so that they will grow to love it. And that's how my mother would describe when she started learning Nahin. She's like, it's just like falling in love, you know. And really, it does sustain you, you know, to care that much about something, and especially individual projects. Like I really, especially Nahin, like you get the eyes out there, and then they're always with you, and so so it's important. It's important to have the new weavers grow to love it, and that means you have to gently teach them.
Yeah, that's someone asked me recently what the qualities are of a decent mentor teacher, and I said, well, Evelyn. I said, well, just follow what Evelyn's doing, and Kay Parker, and there's not many who have the skill, the technical skill, but also, like you said, the patience and kindness, and that absence of aggression or tension in the voice and teaching methods. So I always tell people to go find you and go to where you are or call you and take your classes, because that that comes through. Just, I think we only spent a few days together.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
their
so
enthusiasm also is catchy, so that's nice to have young people look up to what you're doing with your enthusiasm. It's yeah, my sister Holly is a good teacher too, but she's so entertaining, you know. I always feel after she and I used to teach right after the other in the Totem Heritage Center in March because I'd like to be there for her birthday. And so but I always feel like I'm boring compared to Holly, you know, um but it's just a different technique, right? She's weaving the cedar and they're having fun and they sometimes eat at the table and we're working with yarn, right? We're working and so we have to keep things clean and then
yeah.
like you say, when you're doing Nahin and you're learning Ravenstail for the first time, you really have to concentrate. So I feel like boring or not, if I can speak quietly and the room can be quiet, that's
Yeah,
what it is.
I feel you on that. I never felt like I could keep up with my mother's stories. And in fact, your mother, Dolores Churchill, has the best stories. Like that is that's almost half of the fun of hanging out with your mama is the stories that she's sharing. And same with Holly. But yeah, my mom would go off for a good 20 minutes and we'd be like, wait, you were supposed to show us how to turn the corner though, right? And she's just overdoing this one thing. But good times. I mean, good memories. But yeah, I can't theatricalize all that with the way she did too. Same. What advice do you have for people who want to be weavers, for budding weavers, people just getting into it?
Well, just stay with it. Like when I was learning, and like I said, I was pretty off on my own. I would set up projects like the size of small pouches, and I would just take the time to all day learn one technique or one shape, you know, and know that it wasn't going to turn into a pouch. It wasn't going to turn into anything. it was just me working on those techniques in small projects. And another thing I teach people, or I want to tell people and tell people in my class, is that think big. You know, like right now I'm saying, you know, take the time to work small projects out on your own, knowing that it's not going to be anything. But also, don't be afraid to approach a project that's big, because once you do that project, it's going to give you so much confidence. I mean, the confidence comes with doing, and doing something big is going to give you a big confidence. And you do need to have confidence. You have to go beyond the kits. You know, like a lot of people have those kits, and those are fine too. For the same reasons, I would go off in my own, doing my own little thing. Um, those work, but really take that leap and do something big on your own. And don't, like, because I had nobody over my shoulder, I really had to push myself, you know, and you do need a lot of confidence with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been dreaming about getting all of us weavers, the mentor weavers together, and anyone who's been weaving for 10 years or more, and having us kind of hold space for any other weavers who want to start robes, like to have maybe 10 or 20 or 15 robes all start at the same time. And now being in isolation and realizing that we could be teaching them to spin, and they could spend the next 6 to 12 months spinning their warp. And then when we come all back together, we could show them how to warp up their looms. And I just feel like the potential for having people start those huge projects is just so ripe right now. Would you be interested in doing that with us, and gathering together, and like, I just want to jump up and down thinking about it, but getting together, would you want to come together and like help other people start full-size Ravenstail or Chilkat blankets?
Yeah. Well, well, now I've gotten the hang of Zoom.
Yay! We could almost do it virtually. I bet we could actually. Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
Well, I was thinking of that too, because I'm working on a Ravenstail robe right now, and I'm using both techniques of the Ravenstail and the Nahin, but I do have a Nahin commission, and because of my foot being broken I was just out of commission for like 4 months. I'm behind, so I was thinking that I would hang this Nahin robe sometime while I'm doing this Ravenstail robe, and in that I was thinking I would bring it into my demos and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would, wow. Yes. That is information that is not searchable. Like, no one has shared that ever, how to warp up a loom. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate your encouragement for people to try big things, because I think, and actually my mom, Clarissa Rizal, was she was weaving smaller things, and then her friend Ann Smith from Yukon Territory, from Whitehorse, Ann said, why don't you just weave a robe? It's such a different experience. And my mom said, oh, you know, I just like these small ones, it's real easy to finish. And then she finished her first robe and she said, forget it, I don't want to go small again.
And that second robe was so fast. I was just amazed. But then, you know, some people can weave just like all day. And Dorica, I think when she did her first robe in Sitka, she was amazing how fast she went. But your mother's second robe, I was always amazed at that. Yeah.
Yeah, she was running after Jennie for that. Jennie, we were listening to a Tlingit language. My husband was listening to the Sealaska recordings that Nora was interviewing Jennie Thlunaut, and Jennie's speaking in Tlingit, and she said, you know, I'm old, but I like to weave June, July, August, September. Start in June and end in September. And I was like, what? She just said she wove a robe in 4 months. And then Ishmael said, she's laughing now because she's saying she's faster than the other weavers.
Yeah,
And I,
I always thought I'd get faster, but no, it doesn't. I've never gotten faster. My first rope took 2.5 years, and my second rope took 2.5 years, and my tunic took 2.5, on and on. In fact, my last Nahin rope almost took 3 years, but
yeah, it's,
it's
I don't know, I don't know how to, I don't know how to do it. I, I, she did say, I get up in the morning and I go home in the afternoon and I work all day long and I don't miss a day, June to September. So
wow.
I guess
That's a
if,
lot of discipline. My grandmother, Selena Paratovich, I was, growing up, just seeing her discipline. I mean, she's working at home, but she had very regimented activities, and weaving on that kitchen table was the majority of her day. But I just, you know, she was amazing. Yes, it's important that the older people really had a way of working with their time, and their time was their friend. Where I'm like, time is a thief.
yes, well, we're also, supposed to be doing all the rest of the things. Yeah, I feel like it's we went from, this one task we were to do, and then, feeding the children and taking care of them and all that, but we have so many more responsibilities as like isolated nuclear families that we didn't have even 2 generations ago.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, email can suck a couple hours each day.
Well, I'm bad at email, so.
Or social media, all that. Evelyn, do you have anything else you want to share or say about um, Nahin or being a mentor or anything about that for?
Well, I think that I'm just so happy that there was this revival, this bringing back of these textiles, and I really want the world to know about our textiles because, you talk about Indian blankets or things like that, and people will automatically think Southwest. And I'd love to see more books, more coverage on textiles, and that's why I was so happy that the Alaska State Museum is going to have that textile exhibit, and just more people knowing about our textiles, and when they think about the robes, that they will think about the Northwest Coast robes too, right? So
Mhm.
it needs to just be more appreciated because it's pretty complex weavings and very unique in all the world that we weave down. Like there aren't very many people who weave down. Even the simple backstrap loom you're weaving up. So we're real unique, and we need to keep it going. And I'm really encouraged that you're doing that, and that the Juneau weaving group is so close knit and have never dropped it. They ever since the exciting '80s they've kept going, and it's just a really really good thing. And we took a hard knock losing those two major weavers, and I'm just so glad you're stepping into your mother's footsteps, um, and that I just feel like my two daughters weave, and between the basic core people, like you said, there aren't that many people who are doing this that will it'll go on. I feel confident that it will continue.
Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you to Sealaska Heritage Institute for having us connect across the miles and miles. And thanks for sharing and continuing to share and teach and weave. And again, everybody go check out Evelyn Vanderhoop's videos on YouTube. Go to her website, learn all about what she's up to. And if you get the opportunity in Ketchikan or Haida or wherever she is, go learn from Evelyn.
My
Thank you
door
so much. What?
my door is always open.
Oh, thank you. And you're so generous with your time on Facebook Messenger and all of that, and email and everything. So thanks for continuing to connect. Just supporting us that are still constantly learning. Yeah.
Yeah, good, good.
Thank you. Have a great day. I hope you get some good weaving done today.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.